Hi, good day, ladies and gentlemen, all my students. Today we are going to talk about the evolution of computer technology by which it affects the way we manage digital records as well as electronic records. So, in this session, you will be learning how the interrelated aspect of ICT, computer technology, work process that is used in organizational setting and how it impacts the creation of records, the use of record, the transfer of digital records, the management of the electronic record by itself. Previously, when organization use records, they use it very manually. Record is created by handwriting, letters, reports, and so on and so forth. And then the advent of technology, we have computers in the 1970s. Changes take place in a way that it gives impact how organization use technology in their day-to-day activities. So, computer technology uh, really change and pave the way for progress and modernization. And then we are concerned about who has the technology, who has access to the technology, which type of information can be handled in automated application, which organizational function or process can be supported by computer application. You have to remember, early from the very beginning, when the technology of computer is introduced, it doesn't come cheap. It is very, very expensive. Not like today. I could consider that the peripheral, the hardware, the software of today, it is far more advanced, it is far more cheaper. However, though, that is the background information with regard to the computer technology. But the focus of my discussion today is how it gives impact to electronic record or digital record. And of course, with technology, it is up the process. And this create the issue of what is the purpose of creation of records. Anything that we want to have, we just print it out. Previously, when we want to do records, we want to create record, we think it properly and we do it properly, and it is just that at the point of creation, everything is perfectly arranged and decided. Today, the technology make things fast. We just want to have the draft and we print it out the draft, and then suddenly there are changes here and there with regard to the document, with the draft, and then it got mixed up with the final draft, for example. Next, we are concerned about comprehensiveness of the records in terms of the whole requirement to mix it up as a record. We are also concerned about reliability of the records as well as authenticity and the value of the digital records. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, and my student, whenever I talk in my session, I am always referring to digital records. And in this case, whenever I mention records, I am actually referring to digital records. So, how reliable is the digital record? How can we ensure the authenticity of the digital record as compared to the physical records? And the issue of value with regard to the digital record. In 1940s, for example, in 1950s, this evolution took place, and then there is there is a process by which computation intensive tasks, for example, with regard to calculating, with regard to accounting, with regard to statistic data, which are processed in batches. Output in the form of summaries, bill, account, and other business document or reports or analysis of scientific research. That is the mainframe era, and in which during this time computers are expensive to acquire and operate, which require complex software developed for each single application. So there is a need during that time where users or experts decide what hardware and software to use, for example, which tasks to automate, because they cannot afford to automate everything as compared to today. And the system is not yet available, and they have to look into how the system should be designed to accommodate, customize according to organizational setting. And then moving towards 1960s, there is a concept of time sharing. Early computer networking and remote access were introduced. New type of application, we begin to have the so-called text editing, statistical analysis, graphic design, and etc. So, uh, most computers during this time established tape libraries in which information and data are stored in a tape libraries. Okay, we don't have diskette yet, we don't have CD-ROM yet during this time, and then we call it those things as machine readable media. So at this stage, electronic records is viewed as spatial media records for their informational content. So whenever we need to have uh, evidence, we need to bring it from the tape libraries, from the media just now, and put it into printable form so that it can be used uh, for whatever the purpose is. And then 1980s, IBM introduced personal computers, which is equipped with user-friendly software for word processing, database applications, spreadsheet, and graphics. This is when typewriter was replaced. Manual accounting was replaced by database and spreadsheet and other business application. So what makes the difference between now and then is that we have a compressed data and information in the form of databases. And PC computing makes access to this information more affordable and accessible. Everybody can get access. We are not yet concerned during this time about security, about who can access sensitive data and record, and those things. Okay, how to use it maybe, and how to control the information being stored. During this time, issues are not very much strong to be concerned with. And then what happened is that with regard to electronic records as well as archiving is that it is very difficult to inventory, appraise, and preserve text and data file which is segregated. Okay, lack of systematic backup procedures and storage media is during that time vulnerable to loss, easily damaged, and so on and so forth. So somehow or rather, different PC system is also incompatible with each other. And then after that, we have networking era in the mid 1980s. TCP/IP was introduced. We begin to understand about LAN and WAN, local area network, and wide area network. Internet is introduced during that time. Mainframe era gone. Each PC is connected to a network, and they can perform standalone operation. File storage and access to application software is managed centrally in one or series of file servers. This development brings about a tremendous change in the way organization works. So, in this manner, when it is everything is in a network environment, it is easier for us to transfer messages, transfer records, transfer anything else through email platform. And and this is the early stage of online transaction, business operation being done online, and paperless era is introduced. So in record perspective, with regard to electronic record perspective, how are we going to preserve the electronic records for long-term preservation? This is the issue. So this development of the records, as well as which is being influenced by uh, because of the development in ICT, because of the development in computing, because of the development in technology, bring about tremendous challenge to record professional, record managers, archivists to manage electronic records, in a sense that previously we have physical, easy to manage. Now we have digital, which is very much dependent on hardware and software, which is not easily compatible to each other system, which is easily accessible, and there is a probability, high risk and high probability of hackers being hacked, unauthorized access to the critical information, to the critical records, to the secret, and so on and so forth. So secret records and so on and so forth. This create a real challenge with regard to the management of the electronic records. Next, we will discussing about on the guidance of management of electronic records. Thank you very much. Bye bye.